Conscious Food is actually a partnership between myself and one of the leading or first ever Indian organic companies. I came across them 4 years ago, and I'll explain how my journey led to them. And basically, I was bowled over by the way that they were trying to preserve a lot of the crops that have been lost in India, and particularly with all the farming methods that have been taking place and the GM crops trials. And here were a group of people who were really passionate about preserving Indian heritage, preserving Indian food, and really working to support small Indian farmers and to help them grow and turn organic if they weren't already organic, and had been for centuries. So it's really a collaboration with the farmers, the growers, the people that make our products, and obviously the end consumer, particularly over here in the West. And what we really wanted to try and create was an interconnection through food and through nourishment, right the way through from the grower to the makers of our food and to you, all the consumers. And I have got a number of products at the back that you can sample, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them as we go through. My mission really is to empower, inspire people through nourishment, through food, to end up with more vitality, greater well-being, but also, again, coming back to basics in terms of what we eat and how we eat, because we've lost a lot of the connection to our food. We've lost, we eat far too much processed food, margarine, which is basically one molecule away from plastic. If you didn't know that, I would, it's just, there are things like that. We eat bread from the supermarket that's had quick yeast thrown in it, and it hasn't been allowed to prove and rise. And so people are then wondering why they end up with all these digestive problems and bloating and can't digest food and food allergies, food intolerances. And I think really part of what we are is we need to get back to basics. We need to simplify what we eat and really eat as much as close as nature intended. And so that really for me is what I love about what I do. And how I got there, I'm very fortunate to have come from a family of mega foodies, and we've always traveled the world and been very fortunate, so we were exposed to a lot of, ethnic foods and different food cultures from a very young age. But at the same time, I was also very fortunate to have a mother who believed in natural alternative medicine. So when we were ill, we were given herbs, we were given vitamins, we were given food. I went to see my first acupuncturist at the age of 8. And age 18, I made a vow never to touch pharmaceutical drugs ever again. And so for me, it's always been about health, well-being through nature as well. So I started in PR. It wasn't a very long career in that area, but I became interested in yoga, and I went on to become a yoga teacher and studied a lot of Ayurvedic medicine. I also studied energy medicine and worked for 7 years in energy medicine, working with certain products. So I really had that knowledge, plus the knowledge of the food, and was looking for something that ticked sort of all the boxes of travel, of health and well-being, and of good food. So as part of going to India, and I've been going to India now for over 15 years, traveling, visiting, experiencing, and it was on a trip to India 4 years ago that I came across Conscious Food in India, and I had that wow moment. It was just like, yes, everything came together, and I just thought, here is an amazing company doing amazing things, and I want to bring that over to the West. So it was very much started with a suitcase full of samples of the snacks, and just sort of held my fingers crossed and thought, we're just going to give it a go. And I was very lucky that the feedback from that first show was overwhelming. And so here we are today. I've launched the product over 2.5 years ago. We have a range of snacks. They are all gluten, wheat, dairy, yeast, oil-free snacks. Now, they're not deliberately targeted at the free-from market. They just happen to naturally be that way. And so obviously we've been very fortunate to tap into that market for people who do really need good, nutritious, free-from foods. Because again, a lot of the free-from foods out in the market now are full of bulkers, fillers, starches, palm oil, sugars, and they're basically not healthy at all. We champion, one of the key grains that we work with is a grain called millet. Now, most people in this country haven't even heard of millet, or if they have, they associate it with birdseed. You know, it's the thing you gave to your budgie when you were a child out in the garden. But we basically work with 4 different varieties of Indian heritage millet, which has basically been untouched for centuries. It's never seen a chemical, it's never seen a pesticide. And millet is actually one of the unsung heroes. It's a superfood, it's alkalizing, it's high in protein, it's fabulous for the soil, it's very rich in minerals, in phytochemicals. You can pretty much grow it without any pesticides or fertilizers, which means it's fabulous for the soil. We used to grow it in England, but unfortunately, I think there's maybe one little farmer who's growing some, but really, unfortunately, when rice, when wheat, when oats, when barley came into play, it got swept aside. So, just mass producing wheat was much faster to grow. They got more money from it. You know, that's usual things. So we do a range of snacks. You're more than welcome to try that, which are made of millet. And one of the things we work with small farming cooperatives to make them, basically to encourage them to keep growing them, so that there is a demand for these crops. You see, if we don't buy them and if we don't consume them, they're not going to continue growing them. So, you know, it's again part of that whole chain of understanding where our food comes from, how it's grown, how it can benefit other communities, is something that obviously we're very passionate about. So we do snacks at the moment, but we will bring in our other organic products, which are herbs, spices, pulses, rices, and things like that. One of the things that we've become known for is a product called the digestive mix. And again, it's part of the connection of helping people get well through food. And basically, digestive problems, we have, I don't know, it's like the second most common range of diseases and problems in the Western world. It's due to the food we eat, how we eat, when we eat. You know, we eat in front of computers, we don't chew properly. There's a plethora of different reasons for that. And so one of the things we brought in is the digestive mix, which is it's a revolutionary new product. And it's simple, because it's just making people chew with some herbs and seeds, and it's completely baffling the nutritionists and the doctors who are going, but how come this person who had Crohn's disease for 10 years and this person who had IBS for 20 years, how come they're getting better just by chewing some herbs? So again, it's just the simple things that we've forgotten about, and it's bringing them back so that we, again, have that connection with food. And so there will be some to try, but only try it if you've had something to eat, because it is stimulating and you've got all the lovely Ayurvedic herbs and seeds. So you can only really have it when you've had some food. So really I believe in finding the best products in the world that bring together health, that bring together well-being and good nourishment. And I suppose that is what we are about as a company. That's what I'm about as a person. And, you know, we need to think more about where our food comes from and care more and nurture what we have on the planet. And I don't know how many minutes I've got left. It's my question. So I guess my question is, I had quite a few actually, but I'll just say the one that comes to mind. What do your eating habits reveal about you and your well-being?